thanks to my current project of watching every single Oscar Best Animated Short Film nominee, I have now seen my first ever Oswald the Lucky Rabbit short, and I have to say this is a lot of fun. This was one of the 3 nominees for the 1932-33 Best Animated Short. It didn't win. I will at the end of this talk about the 2 other nominees, both of which were Disney. This one is actually a Universal short, directed by Walter Lantz. But what is interesting of note is that Oswald is actually a character who was created by Walt Disney, the man, not the company, for Universal. And Disney did do some work with Oswald the Lucky Rabbit in later years, but certainly this one is very much a short that was done by Universal, released in 1933. And this one is a lot of fun. It's about 7 minutes, and it starts off with Oswald at the dentist. And one of my favourite scenes in the whole thing is when the tooth is extracted and it grows hands and tries to cling on to Oswald's other tooth. I'm terrified of the dentist, so for me it was just creepy and eerie and a lot of fun. Quite quickly things progress. Oswald realises that old King Cole, the merry old soul, is actually feeling quite upset and quite depressed. So he makes an effort to try and cheer him up, and in doing so he also calls upon other entertainers in the area, including caricatures of Charlie Chaplin and Laurel and Hardy and the Marx Brothers and a couple of others. And these animated characters visit old King Cole to try and cheer him up, and they start to do that by telling nursery rhymes, which is a lot of fun. I'm a big fan of nursery rhymes, and some of these are kind of reenacted throughout. For example, there are blackbirds baked into a pie, and then things... Well, no, actually, I won't progress. I won't tell you what makes the king start to cheer up, because they try a different tactic, and something does eventually cheer the king up. But I won't spoil it, because it's good fun. You can watch it to find out. Somebody uploaded it to YouTube. It's absolutely worth watching. I really like it. The very, very end of it kind of gives it a bit more depth and kind of makes you question what actually happened and why it happened. But again, I won't say any more about that, but it's definitely worth reading about on Wikipedia. It gets quite dark at one point, which I wasn't expecting. But ultimately it manages to maintain this jovial, frivolous theme that works really well. It's a brilliant homage to some of the great comedians. Whether or not they approved the use of their likeness in this, I have absolutely no idea. Just looking at their ages, obviously this was released in 1933. Chaplin was alive till 77. He was still around. Laurel and Hardy, definitely still around. Yeah, so they could have approved it, but I'm not sure if they did. If anybody knows, feel free to tell me. As my introduction to Oswald the Rabbit, I'm really very impressed. And I will be singing Old King Cole's a very old soul. I say I'll be singing it all day. I don't even know the words. It's stuck in my head now, which I like. So with regards to it being nominated for the Best Animated Short Oscar, it didn't win. The Three Little Pigs by Disney won, which is one of their silly symphonies, and I'll be honest, I love that one so much. I'm a big fan of the Three Little Pigs short, so I'm really glad it won. The other nominee was the Disney short Building a Building, which is a Mini Mickey and Peg-Leg Pete one that I just don't think is very good. So definitely The Merry Old Soul for me was a strong contender. If it had won, I would have been okay with that. I would have thought, if it won over the Three Little Pigs, I would understand why. But as long as Building a Building didn't win, that's absolutely fine. But Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, looking forward to exploring more of those shorts. But I'm very glad that The Merry Old Soul was my introduction.